So let's get into it. Dune Part 2, directed by Denis Villinieuve. I was so excited. As I said, this is one of my most anticipated movies of the year, and I thought it would be great because Denis and the same crew are back from the first movie. The first movie to me was awesome. It was my second favorite movie of the year it came out, and I thought this one would be just as awesome. And man, I gotta tell you, boy, was I wrong. This movie is not just as awesome as the first movie. This movie is on a whole new level of amazing. This is a masterpiece. This is the new standard of what film should be. And I've been reserving my thoughts all night because I felt like everybody would think I was overhyping it. But look, guys, every filmmaker right now working in Hollywood needs to look at what Denis Villeneuve and his crew did on this film. Jaws, E.T., Empire Strikes Back, Star Wars, Jurassic Park.
Look at my shirt.
Nice shirt. I'm telling you, and now Dune Part 2. This is the caliber of film we are talking about here. This is amongst the top 25 greatest films ever made. And I have not said that about a movie in a very, very long time. That is how perfect this movie is. Forget the Oscars. It's Dune. Best Picture is going to Dune. I'm telling you right now. Zendaya is getting nominated. Timothee Chalamet is getting nominated for the Oscars. I'm predicting this. I'm calling it. Austin Butler might win an Oscar for this. He is beyond amazing. Everybody is great. Rebecca Ferguson might win an Oscar for this, who got a lot more to do this time around, by the way. I want to give you guys my gripes. I can't. The pacing is so even. It doesn't feel uneven at any point. It is exactly the film it was intended to be. Through and through. It never falters. It elevates its first film by a long shot. The action sequences are incredible. Every shot of this movie is extremely breathtaking, and I was transported into the land of Dune in a way, or just to a different world in a way that I'm not transported in other movies of today. You know what I mean? Even James Cameron's Avatar and Avatar 2 have nothing on this film. The work is all on the screen. He left it on the screen, and this is why I love the movies. You could just see the hard work. It's all put in there. This is unreal. I couldn't believe what I saw tonight when this movie was over. The fight choreography, don't even get me started on that. Hans Zimmer's score being perfectly placed. This is a new level of cinema that we haven't seen. And this doesn't happen like ever where it's just this new standard, really not like this. And you're just like, wow, it broke the mold. And again, this is why we go to the movies. We're all hunting for something. And I think I found it with this movie. And if I didn't have to come back and do this review, I would have walked back in that theater and gotten another ticket and saw it again. That's how incredible this movie is to me. If you guys are sitting on your lazy butts, Dune Part 2 is waiting for you. Get out to that IMAX and go see this film. It's the best way to see it is on the IMAX screen. Get out there this weekend as soon as you can. Everybody needs to see this masterwork of a film. And again, I would talk about gripes. I don't got them. It's a perfect movie. It's as perfect as a movie can be in this day and age. I've never seen anything like it. And I'm sorry I'm hogging all the time here on the non-spoiler part, but those are my thoughts right now. Jose, I know you were very much looking forward to this as well. What'd you think?
I mean, you basically stole the words right out of my mouth. First of all, the first thing I want to say is I think that this movie needs to be in every single college for film in the U.S. and internationally. This needs to be taught.
Yes.
Forget teaching older films. None of that black and white stuff. Like, you can teach that, just don't focus on it. This movie right here needs to be the standard teachings in every single college for film in the world. What a masterpiece. I'm so glad that I got a ticket for tomorrow to go see it again in IMAX again, because And for the runtime that it is, 2 hours and 46, like it I'm not surprised that it was that long. It needed that, you know what I mean? Because like this movie was one that needed a longer runtime because there was so much more to dive into with this one. So much more to do. Like you said, the cinematography. Oh my gosh, beautifully shot.
Yeah.
Every single scene. Pacing was insane. The music, Hans Zimmer just killed it again. I mean, he's just incredible with what he does. Like you said, all the actors in this movie, the ones from part 1 and the new ones that we got in part 2, you know, Florence Pugh, also Butler, Christopher Walken, all of them, like, oh my goodness gracious, wow. Top tier. Like you said, the Oscars is going to be Dune Part 2 for, like, I think every single category.
Agreed.
Being completely honest. Like, I'm not going to lie to you, I think this might have just gone to the very top of my top favorite movie of all time. I ain't going to lie to you. Like, that's just how amazing this movie was. Like you said, gripes, I have none. Like, this movie is perfect. It's perfect. It's literally perfect. Like, this is what we've needed.
Yeah.
This whole time in terms of just masterpieces. Like, Denis Villeneuve, hats off to you. You absolutely killed it. Honestly, I can't wait to see what he does with Dune Messiah, because I just, after seeing this, I'm like, well, I need more. You know what I mean? Like, I just nerded out so much with this movie because, you know, you and I are just such big fans of Dune, and we've read the books, and, like, let me tell you, this is so, like, it's the closest to the book, honestly, and it's just so amazing that you could just pick right up from this where, you know, the first one left off, and it's just so amazing, so beautiful, just perfectly done. Honestly, hats off to you, Denis Villeneuve, and the whole team that worked on this movie. You know, all the people in the production, post-production, pre-production, all y'all just absolutely killed it. And I'm honestly going to be in the theater probably at least 4, 5, 6 more times to watch this.
Yeah.
You know, before it's taken out of, you know, the theaters. And once it goes on HBO Max, most likely, or Max, I'm going to be watching it like 20 more times because this movie is just that amazing. Honestly, I enjoyed it from beginning to end. There was not a single point in this movie where I found myself bored or checking my phone for the time to see how much long was left, and none of that. They had me hooked the entire time. Like you said, the fighting choreography, don't even get me started on all that stuff, because it was beautifully shot, beautifully choreographed. The story was incredible. Man, I don't know what, like, that's all I can really say. Like, this is just a beautiful masterpiece.
Yeah.
It's just amazing.
Now, I'm going to say something interesting, you know, because, like, I think, like, we were looking at Oppenheimer last year, right? And, like, everybody, or most people, and myself included, were like, this is Christopher Nolan's masterpiece. I'm bringing this up because him and Denis have been very comparable directors to one another. They both dabble in sci-fi. They both, they have a similar brand to one another, him and Christopher Nolan. They're both about the spectacle, a good balance of the spectacle and the storytelling. See, Oppenheimer for Nolan is what, you know, we think Nolan's peak is, but Denis takes what we think his peak is and then surpasses it by a long shot. That's the difference between these two guys.
Like, he takes it to, like, a level above, like, everyone. Like, he's just, like, so many levels above. It's just insane what he's done with this movie and what he's done for cinema in general, for the future of cinema. Like, it's absolutely crazy. Like, everyone, new and old, needs to look at this and be like, all right, cool, this is what I need to strive for. You know what I mean? Like, this is just, it doesn't matter what genre, you know what I mean? But, like, sci-fi in particular just needs to look at this and be like, wow, this is, like, what I need to, like, strive for.
Yeah, he just set a new bar, just, like, I think, for filmmakers in general
right now for everyone working.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. He set a new bar for filmmakers in general, because, I mean, I don't care if you're working on a drama, comedy, you know what I mean? I don't care if you're Scorsese, you know what I mean? Or who's doing, like, the caliber Goodfellas and stuff like that. You know, I'm talking, like, the thing between, or the similarities between a Scorsese, a Spielberg, or even a George Lucas back in the day anyway, or is the fact that it's like when you're in math class, you know what I mean? And the math teacher's like, now show your work. They do that. These filmmakers do that. They show their work on the screen. Denis has now just entered that caliber of filmmaker to me with Dune 2. And to me, this was just, again, it just far elevated and surpassed my highest expectations for what this movie could be. And I thought it was going to be pretty damn awesome.
I'm honestly intrigued to see what the box office could be.
If this is
the
good,
box office could be for this, honestly.
If it is a successful, I mean, ratings wise, you know, award season wise, it is going to be, but box office wise, if it starts to become successful, people need to be paying attention to what Denis did here and try to surpass the bar even more. You know what I mean? Like, I don't hold back, you know. and I've just never seen something again that transported me the way that this did in this modern day anyway. Not since, I mean, again, some of the older films that I spoke about, nothing in the modern day has really done that the way that this did. James, I mean,
No, for sure.
Look, sticking with the non-spoiler track here. I mean, are we underselling this thing, or I mean, how are you feeling?
No, you're definitely not underselling it whatsoever. Coming fairly new into the Dune franchise, I didn't really know what to expect much, but I was just completely captivated throughout the whole movie. Where I was checking my phone to see what time it was, just because I'm like, how much more can we get into? How much more awesome can this get? It was never really slow whatsoever. Like I said, I was just captivated the whole time watching it in amazement.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, man. I mean, we second that. I think that we all, both of us do, and just it's unreal. It really is. This is a new level of excellence. I had goosebumps on my arms in a way that I haven't felt about a film, and maybe since I was a child. And I mean that 100%. Like maybe since I was a kid and I was watching, movies back then that would, really give me chills. This movie just had my hair standing up and just, you're right though, James, bouncing off the amount of depth that's in this movie it's unreal. Like it is almost like how much more can you cram and keep the pace, it's not about granted, there are moments that are slowed down, but I still feel like it's even. The pacing is very even and never drifts, falters.
Yeah, it felt like it was dragging.
Yeah, it never loses its perfection. All the information feels very important. You know what I mean? If there's a character that stops to stare at another character, it feels like it's right for that moment. Everything is just it's perfection to me. I can't describe it any other way. Go ahead, Jose.
Denis really let his actors show their true potential in this, because there wasn't one singular standout. Everyone was just so perfect in this movie. They all were perfect in their respective roles, and not one actor really stood out over another for me. They all just went out and did what they know how to do in terms of with this franchise in the movie. It was absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah,
I will say Timothee Chalamet was, who actually really did surprise me was Austin Butler in this. I did not know that he could.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was absolutely crazy in this. Honestly, hats off to him.
Yeah, guys, incredible.
Versatile, that's for sure.
Yeah, I was telling another buddy earlier, he wasn't playing Elvis in this one. I mean, this is range. This is range beyond the capability that I knew he had. And Timothée Chalamet again was showing me things.
I could honestly see him playing. That too, yeah, he was. But I was with this performance here from Austin Butler. I honestly, in my head, the whole time I was thinking, bro, this dude could play the Joker. I could see him playing like a Joker.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
He was playing that Fade Roth. It was giving me that kind of vibe for some reason. It was crazy.
He really transformed himself for this, and in a good way. And this movie, this is another point I wanted to make, is this movie, it did show that the biggest stars working for us today, this is why Denis is so great, getting these performances out of them. They're not just the pretty faces you see on magazines. All these people are top tier talent and high caliber. I've been saying this forever. Zendaya is probably the best actress of her time, and I mean her generation, and she continued to show that here. So there's that. Look, before we get into the spoiler section of this thing, because that's what we're gonna really want to dive into. Before we get into that part of it, let's go ahead and I'll give this a grade. We grade from must go to forget about it. If it's really that bad. Obviously we've been raving about this thing, and I'm going to go even higher and give this the grade that I rarely give out, and that is masterpiece. That's obviously what this gets. That this movie really is that amazing. Get out there and see it. Jose, what's your grade on this?
I mean, I think I second that. Masterpiece 100%.
Yeah.
It honestly, if there's something above masterpiece, then it would get that, because this is just that film. It's that, how people say you're that guy. This is that film.
No, for sure.
This is literally that film.
Agreed, 100%, my man. Yeah, James.
I would say it is a masterpiece, but since this is my first time on the show,
Okay.
I will give it a must go
Okay.
because you guys don't know what my opinions are on things.
Fair.
Fair enough. All right, cool. All right. Thank you guys so much for joining for the non-spoiler portion. I am going to warn you, we are going to start talking spoilers on Dune 2. If you don't want to know anything, tune out now. I hope if you haven't seen it yet, you're going to go buy a ticket right now, go see this thing, and then come back and then watch our spoiler portion of this. I'm very excited to get into some of this stuff.